guys, how's it going? This is Judas ASMR. As you can tell, it is super bright outside. And I don't know if I was just looking for an excuse to make a video in the daytime or if this is an actually good idea. I've just always known as an ASMR watcher myself. There's always been this kind of mindset that ASMR is connected with the dark and, low lighting and things like that. But I have every once in a while seen ASMR videos that happen like more in daylight during the day. And I think it's kind of cool where there's that certain level of soothingness and quiet that comes from the night. I think there's also this beautiful, like refreshing vibe that comes from like the daytime. And I think that can be a cool thing for ASMR relaxation. Because I think that, at least for me personally, ASMR isn't just about sleeping. ASMR can also be about relaxation. I'm a person who's struggled with anxiety a lot of my life. And so I've had times where I've watched ASMR even when I wasn't trying to sleep, It just helped calm me down. It helped, give me something to put my attention to when my brain is acting all crazy. So, yeah, I don't know. That would be cool to make a daytime video where we can kind of hang out and talk about stuff. In classic fashion, I got on here with zero plan and zero idea of what I wanted to talk about. But I guess we'll follow the theme, right? We'll follow the theme of daytime excursions, right? I don't know what you guys are, but I've always been the type of person where I actually like the morning. And there's a couple reasons for that. I love breakfast. I love breakfast food. I am a silly American who loves sweet things. And so like a nice stack of pancakes with like syrup on it, like a nice like French toast is delicious. Now I'm gonna get some hate for this, okay? I'm not a huge waffle person. I know, I get it, I understand, I get it. I'm not saying that waffles are bad. They're just not my go-to. You know what I mean? But I get it. I get the love for waffles. I get why people like them, right? It's just never really been my jam, But hey, it is what it is. What else? I'm also a tea person. I'm not a big coffee drinker, mostly because I have a very hyperactive brain. And so the last thing I need is more energy. Because then I'm just like bouncing off of the walls and going crazy. So tea is really nice. Has a little bit less caffeine than a natural like coffee would. So that's usually what I reach for. What else? What other? There's breakfast foods. There's things that. What else? What else is there? I don't know why, like all of a sudden, my brain doesn't know what people do in the daytime. You want to know why that is, actually? I've worked a lot of jobs where I did things overnight. And so I think that's really affected my sleep schedule. And it's only recently, slowly getting back to normal, like a smidge. And so, like, I would stay awake the entire night, and then I would sleep most of the day. And so it's like I was missing all like this beautiful sunlight that you're seeing now. So yeah, that's what your body definitely gets used to, like sleep schedules. If you guys ever worked like a graveyard shift type of job, but it really makes me appreciate the people who work those jobs, because it's tough. It's not easy having to be awake that late at night. It's interesting because like your body can tell that something's wrong, you know, like your body can tell that something's up, and so it almost acts like a less. What am I trying to say? It almost affects you when you're up really late, so many nights in a row. It's like your body's wanting to force you to like go to sleep. Um, so that's definitely a thing. What else? What else? I live in. I'm not gonna dox myself too bad, but I live in Tennessee, and it gets pretty. It gets pretty hot here, but then equally also pretty cold. But I guess that's relative to where you live, right? Because like I know somewhere like Nevada, it's gonna get a lot hotter than here, but not by much. Like we get to hundreds here in Tennessee. And in the wintertime, we get below freezing. But I know, you know, if you're up higher north, you're probably gonna get like, you know, 0 degree weather and like under, right? We sometimes get that, but like not a lot. I I love winter because I would prefer to be cold than to be hot. That's just me. I know there's a lot of like summer babies and a lot of people who love the beach, who live like out in like Cali and stuff like that, and like Florida, but like that could never, that could never be me. It's just like I sweat a lot too. Where are my fellow sweaters? I know y'all are out there. Like I just perspirate a lot, and so in the summertime, it's like I almost need to have like multiple outfits because I'm going to sweat through the first one that I'm wearing if I'm outside too much. So that's just me personally. I sweat a lot. And I've met people who like never sweat. I'm like, how do you never sweat? Like, how do you never sweat? Like, that can't be good for you, right? Like, that means that things are like clogged up, you know? I don't know. I've never like looked into it, but oh my gosh, I like slapped the mic thing there. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I've never looked into it to like really see. Oh, there's a little AC outside my window that kicks in. I don't think it's too loud over the mic, so we'll let it ride. What else? I know I spoke about in an older video how I moved and I am in a new place now, and as you can tell, it's the middle of the day and it's so much quieter. They do have a dog, but the dog is like, it's older. It's like 9 years old. And he's really chill. He kind of like hangs out. I don't think I've ever heard him bark yet. He's both one of those type of dogs where he'll like just come and like lay next to you and like just sleep. He's just like me for real. It's just like me for real. And so it's been cool, I guess, getting used to, you know, roommates can always be like a hit or miss, right? Especially when you first move in, you like find out, okay, is all the good energy and positivity and things that they said actually who they are? Or am I now going to see like a new side of them? But thankfully, this roommate has been really cool. We actually like chat and talk to each other. It's just been really nice. They're really friendly. They're really, it seems like they just have a good heart, right? And I think we bonded a lot over crappy roommates. So I think that's something that kind of, you know, is a good bonding point, right? I think roommates are so interesting because I've had so many experiences, and maybe you guys can relate to this. I've had so many experiences where I like meet somebody and they're so nice, they're so chill, they're so cool. Like when we're getting to know each other, when we're talking, and then the second I actually am living with them, you slowly, because it's never fast, right? You slowly start seeing like the layers like start peeling back and then more and more, and you're like, okay, I'm starting to see what's happening here. You know what I mean? But I'm sure you guys have had some crazy, depending on how old you are, I guess. I'm sure you've had some crazy roommate stories as well. So feel free to talk about them in the comments if you want. I think that would be another cool Reddit story too, like doing like an episode of Reddit stories where I'm just talking about like roommate situations. That'd be cool. I mentioned it in the episode, but that is something that I kind of stole from Smosh because they have that podcast, and plus like I doubt that they were the first ones to sit in front of a podcast mic and talk about Reddit stories, So I'm sure they're not even the first people to do it, but I just like to make sure I say like, oh, I got this idea from somebody, or like, I'm not going to pretend like I'm some mad genius that just can come up with things. So yeah, it's been pretty cool. That's something that I definitely want to do more episodes on. I love yapping, if you can't tell. Like, this is kind of like my thing. I just talk about nonsense and whatever's going on in my life, or whatever's going on around me, or whatever my thoughts are. So if you like people who yap a lot, you're gonna love this channel. And so, where was I going with that? I was talking about yapping. Oh, yeah. So yapping is like a big center stone for a lot of the content that I like to make. I am also really interested in doing more like traditional ASMR stuff, like doing like just trigger videos where I get like some. Do I have anything? Wait, let me elevator out because it's only right. Okay, I'll be back. I'm coming back. There are very few times in my life where I feel like an absolute like genius, and discovering my elevator technique of how I come in and off of camera made me feel like an absolute brainiac. There's the AC again. Cool. But yeah, like typical. Oh my gosh, like everything's cutting on at the same time. This is probably gonna be really loud. But we're gonna keep rolling. We're gonna keep going through it. Just so I can get my final thoughts out. If this is like super loud, I'm going to cut it out and like put in like a stitch or something. But if it's not that loud, I'm just gonna let it ride. But anyways, I was gonna talk about possibly doing more traditional like trigger videos, things like that. Really just getting into it and trying new things. I swear, when I'm making videos, I'm going to start turning off the AC before I start, so this doesn't happen. But like I said, I hope it's not too loud. I'm just going to leave it in, unless I check it and it's really loud. But yeah, we shall return. Thank you. This has been Judas ASMR.